How strong is Monsterverse's King Kong? Well, we already know that the Monsterverse Kong is by far the strongest Kong we've ever seen on screen. But how strong is he? Well, let's start with an adolescent Kong. In 1993, he stood at 104 feet tall and weighed in at 108 tons. And that's relatively small compared to most Monsterverse Titans. Now, that information is important because he has some crazy feats at this size. Throwing a tree through a helicopter. Now, although this is one of his weaker feats, this can be easily overlooked considering how big he is. But in this scene, Kong is spearing steel with wood. The type of force you would need to generate in order to do something like that is absolutely crazy. But if I'm being honest, we're just getting started. This is honestly nothing compared to his other feats. More than anything, it shows that he's an excellent marksman. Breaking free from large ship chains. A feat that's commonly overlooked is not only Kong lifting, but breaking large ship chains. Each link here could weigh up to 350 pounds each. Yeah, these links are fucking huge. And considering most ships that are similar to the SS Venture in size hold around 58 chain links, each chain that you see on Kong here could weigh roughly 20,500 pounds each. And since I could spot at least 5 different chains on him, 3 on his right arm, 2 on his torso, and 1 on his left arm, he's holding up at least 50 tons here, which honestly ain't too surprising. He's only lifting about half his body weight here. What's more impressive is him actually snapping the chain links, which are all made with stainless steel. Not to mention, at this point in the film, he was fighting the Skull Devil all night, after being blown up by napalm. And honestly, at this point, I don't think we'll ever see these Titans at 100%. But Kong was able to pull off some impressive feats while being extremely tired. Catches the Skull Devil with one hand. Kong catching the Skull Devil with one hand is actually an insane feat because he's holding over 3/4 of his own weight with no issues. The Skull Devil weighs 100 tons, while Kong at this time weighed 108 tons. That's like a man who weighs 200 pounds casually catching another man that weighs 192 pounds. Not to mention this other man is jumping at him and flailing around, making him heavier than he initially was. The craziest part is Kong wasn't struggling to hold Ramarak in place. Of course they were fighting, but he was holding Ramarak with relatively no problems whatsoever. And just to be clear here, I'm talking about strength-wise only. I'm pretty sure if Ramarak was being limp right there, Kong could hold him with no issues. From the information that I've gathered so far, 1973 adolescent Kong was able to manipulate over 200 tons with practically no issues. Casually overpowering Camazotz. Moving over to Kingdom Kong, where he was a young adult, he stood in at 295 feet tall with an unspecified weight. In this comic, Kong fights the 164-foot tall Camazotz. Kong was able to easily overpower this Titan whenever he got his hands on him. With Camazotz being able to lift and drop Kong multiple times with ease, this must mean Camazotz is pretty damn strong. Now, guesstimating how much Kong weighs here is the actual issue. He's anywhere in between 70,000 and 80,000 tons, considering he is relative size to Godzilla in Godzilla vs. Kong, and Godzilla weighs around 90,000 tons. But in Kingdom Kong, he's not fully grown yet, so we'll have to lowball it and say around 70,000 tons. Bringing it back to Camazotz, he was able to lift and drop Kong multiple times, basically lifting and dropping 70,000 tons with no problem. He was practically doing reps with my boy Kong. The lifting strength needed to do something like that is completely insane, which makes it even more insane when Kong overpowers him. So with all the information gathered, Kong as a young adult in 2019 is able to manipulate over 80,000 tons. Holding Godzilla back underwater. In Godzilla vs. Kong, Kong is shown doing his most impressive feats yet. In the first fight between Godzilla and Kong, they end up fighting underwater. During this fight, Kong holds back Godzilla's arms from scratching him. Mind you, these are the same arms that ripped King Ghidorah's head off underwater, and that was a weaker Godzilla. And we also have to think about how crazy King Ghidorah's durability is. And for Godzilla to rip his head off that easily must mean Godzilla has some strong arms, yet Kong was able to hold his arms back. I would say that Kong was actually straining to hold Godzilla's arms back, considering you can see Kong let out a roar when he's trying to hold Godzilla back. But we have to remember that Kong is just now waking up from being 88% sedated, and this sedative isn't a normal sedative. It's specifically made with Kong's blood. Whenever Kong gets angry or frantic, it makes him lose oxygen, basically hyperventilating him. So when we look at the overall picture, we have a sedated Kong fighting back a fully powered Godzilla and actually managing to keep him at bay even underwater. This is an amazing strength feat because he is literally fighting the king of monsters in this scene. Now, there's no way for me to estimate how strong these arms are and how much he's actually holding back, but the best comparison I can really make is the fact that these arms rip apart King Ghidorah underwater, and Kong held those same arms back under sedation. knocking Godzilla out with a headbutt. Following up with the same underwater fight scene, Kong was capable of knocking Godzilla out with a simple headbutt. That headbutt gave Kong enough time to swim back to the boat, flip the boat around, get on top of the boat, take off the chains, and get ready to fight Godzilla correctly. And just so you guys know how crazy this feat really is, I have to keep mentioning that this is a Kong under sedation. Up to this point in the Monsterverse, we've never seen a Titan knock out Godzilla with such ease, showcasing the incredible strength that Kong really has. And before I continue, I know that a lot of people don't like it when I describe the headbutt as a knockout, but it literally is what it is. The definition for knockout is to make a person unconscious with a blow to the head, which couldn't be more accurate to the situation. If Godzilla wasn't unconscious, he wouldn't let Kong get away that easily. And knockouts usually only last for about 3 seconds. Godzilla was out way longer than that. And don't worry, this doesn't make Godzilla weak, it just makes Kong strong. Shoulder checking Godzilla off the boat. This should be pretty self-explanatory, but if not, let me explain. Godzilla is a big bitch. His current weight is 90,000 tons. A sedated Kong pushes Godzilla off with little to no effort. We also have to keep in mind that Godzilla was not capable of stopping Kong from pushing him off said boat, which makes you wonder what Kong would have been capable of if he was at 100% during this fight. Kong casually swings Warbat. When Kong enters Hollow Earth for the first time, he has to save everyone from a Warbat ambush. In this scene, we can see him stop a Warbat mid-flight, slam it, then swing it like a bat on the other Warbat. We also don't see any strain or much effort being produced by Kong to do this. Warbats on average weigh around 26,000 metric tons. It would take more than 26,000 tons of pull strength to stop it mid-flight. Not to mention, again, this Kong wasn't 100% due to him being sedated right before entering Hollow Earth. So this is another crazy feat from a Kong that's not 100%, that exceeds expectations. Casually crushing a heave with one hand. The heaves that Maya Simmons created with her father were way before their time. These vehicles were created to survive the crushing forces of Earth when traveling to Hollow Earth. These heaves can survive the pressure of the gravitational inversion of Earth, but not Kong's crush, meaning Kong had to have produced more pressure than Earth's gravitational inversion. Now, I'm not 100% sure how crazy this feat really is, considering a Warbat did destroy one of those heaves right before this happened. Make with that what you will. Holding Godzilla back with one hand. In the second round of the Hong Kong fight, Godzilla rushes Kong. Kong then holds Godzilla back by his neck with one hand, keeping him at bay, meaning Kong is holding back 90,000 tons with one arm. It also doesn't look like he's straining or struggling in the scene. God knows how much weight is actually going on that arm, considering Godzilla was running towards Kong, so it's definitely over 90,000 tons. The conclusion. Most of these feats shown in this video are done with little to no effort, so we actually don't know Kong's full strength yet. But from the information gathered in all these feats, Kong can manipulate at least 180,000 tons. Putting that into perspective, King Ghidorah weighs 141,000 tons, which means Kong can lift Ghidorah over his head theoretically. Kong has been seen as the underdog only from people who don't know his true potential, but the facts are undeniable. He is by far one of the strongest titans that we've ever seen in the Monsterverse. And once Godzilla x Kong releases, we'll be able to take a deeper dive into how strong he is currently. I would also like to take this time to mention how proud I am that people aren't afraid to be Kong fans anymore. There's now enough of us to live in the Monsterverse peacefully, which makes me happy because at the end of the day, I think Kong fans and Godzilla fans should just be able to enjoy the universe. Before we wrap up this episode, I would like to mention that we have a new member by the name of Yekno. He purchased a thermonuclear Gmain membership. Everybody give him a warm welcome. We also can't forget about all the other people that joined. Thank you, Kay, thank you, Asher, and thank you, Plague. Oh, and Asher, don't think I forgot about your video. Everyone say a good hello to Asher.
Hey guys, my name is Asher. My YouTube channel name is AsherADV, and I had the awesome opportunity to come here on Wade Willie TV's YouTube channel and just answer some kaiju Monsterverse related questions. And yeah, let's get into it. I'm super thankful. My favorite Monsterverse movie? Ooh, this is an easy question. My favorite Monsterverse movie is definitely Godzilla vs. Kong. I don't think I need to explain this. My least favorite Monsterverse movie? I think all the Monsterverse movies are good, but if I had to pick one, I would say Godzilla 2014, just because it takes like an hour in the film to even see Godzilla. But the movie does have some good moments like the Mutos and Godzilla. But if I had to choose, Godzilla 2014 is my least favorite Monsterverse movie. Am I excited for Godzilla x Kong? Heck yeah, I am. I'm so excited, and I'm so happy for Wade Willie TV that he got to see the movie early, and I hope someday I can see the future Monsterverse movie early. But I'm so pumped for Godzilla x Kong and the Empire. I'm so excited to see Shimu, Scar King, Suko, Godzilla, and Kong, and we can't forget about Doug. Super excited to see all those. Team Kong or Team Godzilla? I think it's pretty obvious. I'm Team Kong, not because I don't like Godzilla. I love Godzilla, to be honest. I love him equally, but I just have grown up on Kong. Like, my dad loves Kong, my whole family is a Kong family, so I'm definitely Team Kong, but I kind of like them both equally. Thank you so much, Wade Willie TV. Hey, Sammy J Reacts, I'm a huge fan, and I just want to say thank you to Wade Willie TV for letting me say hello to you. And I just want to ask you a question. What is your favorite kaiju movie of all time? I can't wait to hear your answer, and 100,000 subscribers is coming, and I can't wait for you to hit it, brother.
If you guys haven't followed me on Instagram, what are you doing? Follow me on Instagram, ASAP No Rocky. I got some nice photos that I think you guys will like. Thank you guys for all your support. I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.